It's just hard. No, really, it's not. But you don't taste much.
Why are you crying?
I'm crying.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hi everyone, I'm GuineaDad.
I'm Angelique.
So today it's podcast 7.
Yeah.
The topic is going to be flower and herbs that your guinea pigs can eat. You guys already know that we kind of already sell those herbs and flowers.
Yeah. Obvious.
Yeah, so but it's not really about an advertisement or whatnot, but
It's not an advertisement.
We'll talk about, a lot of plants and herbs that guinea pigs can eat. So you guys can maybe, if you guys live in the countryside or some of the relatively clean areas, maybe you can pick them, from the wild, or if it's legal,
Yeah.
pick them to give it to your guinea pigs. So let's get to it.
The first herb on our list is dandelions, or I guess flowers. I don't know if dandelions considered a flower or not.
Yeah, like
It
wheat
is?
flour.
Okay, yeah. So I know like dandelions are super annoying. It's like a something that's like annoying for gardeners or something. But I know that there's a lot of them around. Actually, when I lived in California, I feel like these are like really common everywhere, especially like because like everyone has like grass. But then I moved over here, and I remember we're actually like looking for dandelions and we couldn't find any.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so like
non-existent.
in the desert, it's kind of hard to find them. But
Yeah.
in California, they're probably everywhere.
You go to any garden or grass field that's not taken care of properly,
And you'll
then
find a
you'll
bunch.
find a bunch.
And actually there's two types. I mean, they're not two types, but like there's two kinds that you probably recognize. There's the yellow flowers that are dandelions, and then there's like the kind that you like blow when you're like a little kid
The white ones.
to make like wishes and stuff. So actually it's the same dandelion, but they're just different phases of blooming. I don't know if you knew that, but I barely learned that like last year. So that's really like interesting
Right,
to me.
right. Yeah, I remember doing a lot of those, like when I was a kid, like blowing those.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to like make a wish?
You're supposed to make a wish when you blow those.
I had no idea.
Oh. Yeah.
I just blew
If
them
you didn't
for
know
fun.
that,
It
yeah,
wasn't for
those
wish.
are known to make a wish when you blow them.
Yeah, so essentially for dandelion, guinea pigs can eat pretty much every part, right?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna harm them or anything, and in fact it could be healthy. Only thing is like dandelion leaves, just like everything else, it also needs to be moderated, like every other herbs as well. So you shouldn't be giving like these as a replacement for hay or anything, because you think guinea pigs are herbivore. That's not right. So you do have to give some controlled amount to guinea pigs. One way of giving dandelion leaf is giving this dandelion leaf from GuineaDad, right? You just purchase them and then give them. It's pretty convenient, right?
I don't know if you guys want to see how it looks like. They're actually pretty cool. I meant to shake it, but you couldn't hear it when I shook it. But this is the way it looks. It's pretty cool because it comes with like the case to like keep the content inside like from like breakage and crumbling. And then you pull it out and it looks like a little... You hear that? ASMR. And then it has like the lids. So I don't know if you noticed, you can see it, but there's two parts to the
One
lid.
circular and relatively small, and then the other one is a big one. Well, essentially this is like, before when we had a bag, I think the most difficult part is, you try to give it, but like when you open it, you use your both hands. So you reach in for it or you kind of pour it, but after you pour it, you still have to use two hands to close it, right?
Yeah.
But this one, essentially you open it and then close it with one hand, so you can kind of in real time like bond with guinea pigs, not waste any time, and also keep the stuff fresh. That's the point. It's okay. That's why we created this cap. But if you happen to live in the countryside, or if you have a lot of dandelion on your garden, you can also pick them out whenever they come up and then feed it to guinea pigs. However, there are a couple things that you have to take into consideration. If you have a lot of pets in your area, like a lot of dogs in your area, dogs obviously need like walk every day, and dogs, they more often than not, they go into other people's
And pee and everything.
garden and pee on everything, right?
Yeah.
So obviously you can't have those, you can't give those to guinea pigs. So you have to make sure that it has not been urinated on. It's not just dogs, it can be like squirrel or any wild animals, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make sure those.
You gotta like rinse it really well.
And also the second problem is, the bigger problem is the pesticides. So, you know, in many people's garden, they put pesticides to prevent these weeds from popping up. But even if they do, I mean, sometimes some of them are stubborn, they will still come up. You can't give those to guinea pigs either, you know, because obviously they can kill guinea pigs too, right? Yeah. So there are a lot of considerations that you have to take into account when you're giving herbs from the outdoors.
I saw this one show and it was like about people that don't like to spend a lot. I forget what it was called, but it's on TLC.
Oh, I remember seeing that.
It's like, I remember, it's called Extreme Cheapskates. And like, there's this one lady that she invited her neighbors over. She had just moved, and then she was gonna make them a salad, and she went to go find like weeds and stuff out in the fields. She made a salad out of dandelions, so you definitely can make a salad out of dandelions. I don't know if you guys want to see the inside of this. It's packed to the rim. So there's a lot of, it's like a lot of like leaves, but you can kind of see it from the top.
Yeah, so we kind of do that on purpose because like if there's like more space, then you know there's more movement and more powder created. And you know, same reason why we created this box above the cup packaging to kind of protect it during the shipment so that our cups don't move around. Well, it's herbs, so it can be good for supplementary like nutritions, but I think dandelion leaves are also good for like vitamin C supplement. So
they're good for your digestive system too. I don't know if you ever said that.
So yeah, that's dandelion. For the marigold, I actually didn't know what marigolds looked like before we started selling this. Actually, I didn't even know the word marigold. Actually, is marigold supposed to be like a popular flower?
I think so. It's like a really common flower. It's kind of like, I'm pretty sure if you ever went to like Walmart or something, they have them like right there by the like frozen stuff. You see like the flowers that are like there.
Is this for like a special occasion, or like is there a meaning to the flower? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know that they're like yellow. I think, and orange.
Last time we tried to do a video with the marigold, and I was trying to look for a marigold at Lowe's and Home Depot, right?
Yeah.
It was so difficult. Like, first of all, like they all had marigold, but whenever I try to find one, I do find one. Everything is shriveled in Las Vegas.
It's so dry out.
Yeah, nothing's fresh. Yeah. And I think the sun is so strong that it also kills them. I don't know why they display it outside. They're never inside. Yeah. They're always outside too. So marigold is a good immune booster. Guinea pigs can get weak very easily. Despite like how much you try, they can kind of be weak to and prone to disease, especially bacterial disease. So it's always good to boost their immune system. So that's what marigold is good for.
They're also really good to aid and soothe skin injuries too.
Actually, I did not know that. I didn't know that they can soothe like skin injuries.
I wonder how that works though. Like, do they make it like a paste? Like, do they crush it? And like, I wonder how they apply it.
Like, kind of like a Native American.
Yeah, like I was wondering. Like, I mean, within like humans, I wonder like how they do it, or do they just eat them too?
Yeah. I don't know. But I think biggest benefit would be an immune booster, and also like it heals the digestive system because it controls the stomach inflammation. I would say those are the main benefit for marigold. And then if you feel like your guinea pig is getting a little bit old, like maybe 4 years or 5 years old, that's definitely a good supplement to add. And if you tend to have like guinea pigs with some weird poop shape or whatnot, that's also.
And this is how the box looks for marigold. We do have it.
It's a marigold color.
Yeah, it's marigold color. Did you mean to do that?
Huh?
Did you mean to do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a dandelion leaf color.
Oh, okay.
This is rosehip color.
Why did I don't know. I guess I didn't click in my head when I saw these. But I think isn't this one of Tofu and Dumpling's favorite too?
No, to be honest, it was Peanut and Tofu's least favorite.
Oh, really?
And Dumpling's favorite.
Oh,
yeah.
Dumpling likes everything then.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, sure.
Oh shoot, sorry. But this is kind of, look how colorful it looks. You can see like the flowers in there.
Yeah.
I hope you can see the flowers in there. If not.
But by the way, all the herbs that we have, they're like 100% organic, so it's better than stuff that I eat.
Yes, and you can probably eat it too, huh?
Yeah, you can just brew it in your tea and you can eat it too.
You can see that it's like a dried flower.
Yeah.
You should eat it.
You should eat it this time.
No.
I had one last time.
That's true, huh? Okay, actually, I'll try it. I do it for the content.
Yeah.
No, I'll do it.
Maybe we can brew it in hot water.
Have you tried this before though?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's actually good. No, not in a real. Like, I'm saying the tea is good.
So you never tried this?
No, not in a raw.
It's not bad actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's better than hay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad.
Rosehip is actually a little
I wouldn't
sweet.
eat it for lunch, but you know, it's like if I was starving or something.
Yeah, this marigold also, this can be fed twice a week. But again, you don't have to be exact. You can kind of mix them up. If you have like 2 or 3 or 5 of these herbs, you can kind of mix it up. Some day you give, you give one, another day you give another.
This one's very crunchy too.
Oh yeah, tofu. Okay, so Dumpling likes the flower, like these flower leaves, right? Mm-hmm. And tofu likes the crunchy ones.
Yeah,
the bud.
That's that.
Yeah, tofu likes the crunchy stuff. So anyways, that's marigold.
So the next one is rosehip, and everyone has seen roses before. So, but I didn't know that roses can grow rosehip, which is the fruit on the rose.
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I actually didn't know that either before looking at.
I thought it was just like part of the rose. I thought it was like a rose petal or something, but no, it's part of it's the fruit that grows on the rose.
I actually thought the rosehip was like another completely random fruit that it's just named rosehip because it's red. That's what I thought, but it's it's the fruit of the rose. Out of all the herbs, I would say maybe except for pea flake, rosehip has the most texture, obviously, right? It's super hard. So guinea pigs, obviously, because their teeth is constantly growing, they like chewing on stuff that's hard. That's why they like chewing on Crunchy Kondo, they like chewing on Queen's Castle. You know, if your guinea pig likes to chew on stuff, they might also like rosehip because there's a little bit of sweetness, but also it's fun for them.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one. I think if I were to think like a guinea pig, I think that's why they like them so much.
Yeah, and it's a great source of vitamin C. So
vitamin C, we probably don't have to mention it every time in every single video, but vitamin C is very important for guinea pigs. This is not to say, although we have our product here, this is not to say that none of the supplement and herbs are supposed to replace the vegetable, okay? So I repeat this every single time. Bell pepper of any color is very important to give to guinea pig every day. At least 1/4 of bell pepper per guinea pig per day, right? So that will have sufficient vitamin C. But having more vitamin C on top of that is never bad for guinea pigs, or actually, in fact, any animals, because everyone's vitamin C intake level is different. How you absorb it, right? And every animal is gonna be different. So if you have more, then any excess they're just going to pee it out.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So this could be a good vitamin C supplement as well.
And it also has iron in it too.
Right.
I like the color of this one the most out of all of them, I think. And I think I like chamomile. Before it ends, you have to try one too. Because I already tried one.
No, this one I actually tried it before.
You like this one the most?
This one's okay. It's just hard. No, really, it's not. But you don't taste much.
Why are you crying?
I'm crying?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Imagine like you're like crying while you're eating it.
The next one is rosemary. Actually, I didn't. So when I was releasing these products, I was thinking about whether to include rosemary or not, but we actually decided not to. But that wasn't because it's not a bad herb or flower for guinea pigs, but it was mostly because of Peanut, because that was when Peanut was having some UTI issue, urinary tract infection. So she was having a little bit of sludge, and like very rarely she would also have like a little bit of blood in there. So this was like 2-3 years ago, and then this was when I was like encouraging her to drink a lot of water and whatnot. So this was like completely like ignored from my part because it has like high calcium, could cause those conditions to worsen. But again, not to say it's bad. It's rich in multiple types of vitamin A, vitamin C.
But like, wouldn't recommend it as your first choice for like vitamin C, right?
I wouldn't recommend it as a first choice just because it also has other types of vitamin that's pretty high content. And also the calcium is always like the issue. So having calcium itself is not a bad thing, right? Calcium is a necessary nutrient for guinea pigs, humans, and other animals. But if your guinea pig's already having those problems, then it's kind of discouraged.
Yeah. So the next one is lavender, and so lavender is known as a flower to be like super relaxing. It's actually one of my favorite flowers. Probably, if not my favorite flower, one of my favorite flowers, just because of that component in it, is that it's made to relax you intentionally. And actually, like almost everything I buy for my bathroom is just lavender, because I like that it makes you relaxed, and I feel like I'm, as a person, like very uneasy all the time, so like I feel like it really helps. Like on my body washes, hand soaps, like everything, like scrubs and stuff, lotions, they're all like lavender.
And your potpourri too.
Yeah. everything's lavender. All everything lavender. And I like the color of it too. So obviously it's known to like relax you, so it can be consumed by guinea pigs.
Lavender, is it from a tree or is it like a flower?
I thought it was a flower.
I mean, it's a flower, but is it from a tree or
Oh,
is it
I think
from
it is from a tree.
Okay.
I think. You can correct me on that.
I might have had, I forget, but when I was little, like when I was like elementary school, like first year, even kindergarten and until third year, I used to live in a like small house. And we used to have 4 trees, and one of the trees were like I'm not sure if it was lavender or lilac or some other, but it was like definitely one of those like purple or bluish flower tree, and others were like persimmon tree and another fruit tree and another fruit tree and something like that. But this house used to be my cousin's house. And then my aunt moved to Hong Kong because my uncle got a job in Hong Kong, so they moved to Hong Kong. And then when they moved, our family kind of went in there, kind of lived there for like a couple of years.
How small was your house?
So house itself is not that bad. It's like it was a 2-bedroom house, but what we did was we put a wall so that we can rent the other bedroom to another person. So, and this house was also not our family's house. It was actually my aunt's house, who felt kind of bad for our family. So they just told us to live there, free of rent. So anyways, yeah, I really liked it. And then it was like I'm not sure I don't remember if it was autumn or spring when these flowers bloom. But whenever it bloomed, like the whole, like the garden area, it's like right outside the house, it would smell like the flower.
Oh,
so it was really nice.
Yeah, I like the smell of these too. Maybe it was lavender. But yeah, so lavender is low in fat and calories, so you don't have to worry about your guinea pigs getting fat if they eat these. But it also contains vitamin C as well, so
which is always good.
Yeah, which is always good.
Yeah.
I don't know, did we ever say about like what could happen if they don't have enough vitamin C in their diet?
I don't think we ever talked about scurvy before.
I don't think I've ever seen what scurvy does.
So like it's going to be if a guinea pig does not have enough vitamin C, it's kind of obvious, right? Like they have like some spots and then like hair loss, and then they're very lethargic, and obviously if you go to a vet, they're going to tell you that this guinea pig has a scurvy. And I personally haven't seen that many guinea pigs with scurvy though, because like even when I used to volunteer in the rescue center, and whenever I went to obviously the pet store is never going to have these because they're so young.
Yeah.
But even at the rescue centers, you don't see too many scurvies. But I have a theory why I didn't see that many scurvy. So some guinea pigs will be too fat.
Yeah.
In many cases, because like they give them too much like grain that they're not supposed to, or other food. But scurvy it's possible when you don't provide enough vitamin C, but people tend to think that guinea pigs eat vegetable more than hay, like people who don't know anything about guinea pigs.
Yeah.
So they just give them vegetables and they just give them fruits, which are, you know, mostly high in vitamin C. They may have like stomach issues more, I think.
Yeah,
and scurvy.
Yeah.
So, but in order to prevent it, bell pepper the best, and then to supplement those bell peppers that you give daily and vegetables, these are some of the options.
Yeah. Alright, the next, I don't know if it's what I don't even know if I should be calling it a flower or herb.
It's an herb, I guess, because you also make tea out of these.
Okay.
So it's raspberry leaf.
Yeah. So the next herb is raspberry leaf, and it's part of a delicious fruit that everyone knows and loves. But it's also very like beneficiary for guinea pigs, and also humans, obviously. But yeah, and it's really like abundant in fiber, which is always good for guinea pigs, and it's known to ease UTIs. It's also really good for pregnant guinea pigs or guinea pigs that have just had, what do you call baby guinea pigs? Pups? Or what do you call them?
I think pups.
Pups? It's known for guinea pigs that have just had, like, I guess, pups or babies, so.
You know, I think it's kind of getting repetitive, but you know, same with other herbs, it's going to be beneficial for the digestive system, just like Angelique mentioned, because it has good fiber content. And like I said, raspberry leaf is one of the favorite for peanut tofu and dumpling. So they just love these for, I don't know why, but they love this. Actually, I think they love this even more than the dandelion leaf.
They look very similar. These two look pretty similar, huh?
It's similar, but this one has like white in it because like the leaf that like is kind of dark green on one side and then the other side is kind of white. So if Angelique will show you, but once you see it, you'll see like some white. At first, you're gonna be like, wait, is this mold? And then you look close into it, and it's actually just a leaf.
And it's molten. I'm just kidding. Wait, I don't know why I'm like having a hard time opening this, but oh yeah, you can't see the white. I don't know if you could see that. Should I pour it? Oh, and these, I feel like these are more like, they don't just pour out like the other ones do.
It's clumpy.
These are like very clumpy. We should have done ASMR. That would have been better.
Yeah.
But you see how like it stays in a little ball like this?
Yeah, they're clumpy.
This one's clumpy. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, raspberry leaves tend to be clumpy, and that's why we if you're using our product, try to use the bigger hole. So we have one small, not small, but like circular hole, one big one. So big one is more for raspberry leaf and marigold.
Because they have like bigger content.
Bigger content.
And then last but not least is chamomile. And I feel like a lot of people know chamomile for like teas because I drink a lot of chamomile teas. Chamomile is also known to be relaxing as well. So it does have a relaxing effect on guinea pigs that are like uneasy or anxious.
So it essentially has like similar effect as a lavender without the sludge kind of risk.
Yeah.
So if you have like a really anxious guinea pig, actually you guys, out of 100, how many guinea pigs do you think are not anxious?
I don't know.
Probably little, right?
Yeah, pretty much all guinea pigs are anxious.
I mean, they're prey animals, so it's their instinct to be anxious. That's what makes them survive, right? But in order to help with that, their stress level, chamomile is definitely, I think, a good thing to add. So guinea pigs don't live that long. So they live 5 years to 7 years on average. Some guinea pigs that live longer live much longer. Some guinea pigs live less than that. But in general, 5 to 7 years. And during that time, it's same for human. Guinea pigs will be happier and live longer if they're less stressed. And looking at Peanut, like how Peanut passed away, I feel like that kind of proves the theory because I don't know, I'm sure you guys already know, but Peanut was super smart one, right? And then super picky, and then she was too smart for her own good, I think. So she would always get annoyed at Dumpling and Tofu for not moving out of her way, and then she was always rumble strutting at them, and then Peanut would just be happy when she's with me or other humans more. So I think so personality plays a lot of role too, I think, in terms of keeping that happy. And if you have guinea pigs like Peanut, who's kind of too smart, too edgy, or too scared all the time, I think this would be a good thing to add to their diet.
And then it's also used to, well, I mean, a lot of them are used for digestive issues, but this could help bloating and then or loss of appetite, and it also eases tension and pain as well.
Right. In terms of how it works, not how it works. So chamomile and marigold are like flowers, right? And raspberry leaf and dandelion leaves are leaves, and rosehip is kind of different. It's like fruit.
Yeah.
So depending on how you guys want them, but if you guys have to choose like 3 out of 5, then maybe a good idea would be choose one from the leaf, choose one from the flower, and then the fruit.
Yeah.
That's actually one way of choosing it. And we just told you about like some of the specific benefits of each herbs and flowers. So your guinea pig's the best, obviously. Like I wouldn't know about your guinea pigs as well as you do. So based on your observation, try to choose the right one that would benefit the most. And the second consideration, actually the even more important consideration, is guinea pigs like different things. Some guinea pigs will like marigolds, some guinea pigs will hate marigolds. So it's going to depend on the guinea pigs. So you can always give something that they like more, when it comes to supplements. So.
And then you can sprinkle these on their hay too, just to make it more exciting for them to forage.
Right. They would actually dig up and then try, almost like a treasure hunt to get to these herbs and fruits. Oh, and pea flake is just here.
Stop this side. You guys already know all about that. Try to pay attention to this one too much. Focus on these.
Yeah, this one is more of a treat. So
Yeah,
not really about like the health benefits like the others are, but this is more for treat and more for fun.
These are what like vitamins almost,
Yeah.
You take a vitamin every day.
Yeah.
This is what these are.
Right. So I highly recommend checking these out. And then if you live in the countryside, and then if you have like the field and like near your house where you can kind of forage stuff, feel free to do that. But obviously you only want to do that if you know enough about those herbs that you're picking, and 2, those need to be clean. So those are kind of considerations that you need to take into account. Otherwise, check these out. Okay, so that's everything about the flower, herbs, and actually we should have said fruit.
I know. Okay.
We completely ignored the rosehip.
I know.
But so that's this podcast content. Well, thanks everyone for listening and watching this podcast episode. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.